Hey there, it's Daniel from growyourmusicstudio.com. I want to tell you I'm very excited. I just got back from the 2017 MTNA conference that was held in Baltimore, Maryland. And over the last week, I had a chance to attend that conference, talk to visionary teachers and music educators, and then have a chance also to think about the things that I saw, think about the conversations that I had at that conference. And in this video, what I want to do is tell you that I think I've seen a vision of the future where music education is going over the next 10 years, and I kind of want to let you in on that vision that I see and help you prepare for changes, big changes that are coming in the music education industry. To begin with, what has been true over the last half century is that there has been a strongly delineated line between music academies and private studio teachers. Private studio teachers being a studio that's in the home or perhaps hosted in a commercial space where there's just one teacher seeing up to 50 students. And a music academy being an educational institution that has 100 kids, 200 kids, 500 kids, that has a central business owner who either teaches herself or just owns the business, but she employs master teachers to work with the pupils of that academy. There's been a strongly delineated line between those two types of businesses. And what I'm seeing right now is that that line is getting blurred, and that there is a new class of teacher that is beginning to emerge in that middle space. And the reason that class of teacher is emerging is because the gatekeepers that held the keys to advertising are now no longer the gatekeepers. And here's what I mean. 20 years ago, if you wanted to get your business in front of a lot of people, you had to go through a newspaper. You had to buy space in a magazine. You had to go through a postcard mailing company. You had to buy advertising space on a radio. And what that meant was there was a certain amount of talent required to create effective advertising that you knew was going to cause you to have more students. And the fact that it costs so much to work with those gatekeepers and to get into some of these larger publications or to advertise at scale, what that meant was if you didn't have the money or the talent to do that kind of advertising, you were kept out entirely. And so what that did was kept teachers who either weren't ambitious to have a giant studio or didn't want to work on the skills necessary to create talented advertising, they stayed small. Whereas someone who had a goal or a dream to build a music academy, they either worked on the skills themselves to create great advertising, to take the risk to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a postcard campaign that they did not know would work or not the first time they ran it. They actually had the gumption, the ambition to either go out and find those gatekeepers to raise the money to do that, or to build the talent themselves to do it themselves, where they created their own advertising and they worked on their own personal skills to do that. What's happening because of digital advertising is that teachers are bypassing those gatekeepers and going directly to consumers through advertising channels such as Pinterest ads, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, and what I feel is going to be true over the next couple years, Snapchat ads, and whatever social media channels are coming down the pike. Teachers are going directly for those channels. Here's what that means. Well, actually, hold on, because there's one other trend that I'm beginning to see emerging that is getting more traction pedagogically. In the past, if you were a teacher that taught group lessons, it was very likely that you were ignored by parents or looked down upon by the educational establishment, that the reigning model of teaching piano or trumpet or guitar or violin over the last 100 years is that it's one student with one teacher coming once a week to see the teacher. Because of social media, the acceleration, the speed at which new ideas are being propagated is increasing, and more teachers are beginning to create their own methods, to reject the traditional norms of our educational field and create something very unique on their own, and they're differentiating themselves from teachers around them. Now, because of this, they are getting a disproportionate amount of students because of their ambition, and what that means is that they have a little bit more profit margin they have a little bit more money. And specifically what I'm talking about here is that group lessons as a pedagogical tool is really coming to its own right now, okay? At the MTNA conference in Baltimore, I saw booth after booth after booth of vendors, entrepreneurs who've created some sort of technological app. 5 years ago, there might have only been a few people in the technology space trying to create and sell educational tools directly to teachers. Over at least half of the booths at MTNA this year was some sort of app, some sort of technological tool that is being sold to teachers. Some of the technological tools that are now being used, such as playground sessions or Piano Marvel, some of these tools are allowing teachers to work in groups and to leverage the power of technology to evaluate children at a speed heretofore unthought of. Unimaginable 10 years ago that we could evaluate children with accuracy, with a high degree of confidence that the child is actually getting a great music education with an app. I know of studios right now that are using the app Piano Marvel to do almost all of the evaluation work for kids at low levels, and they're able to see and graduate kids at a rate of 12 an hour with just a master teacher and an assistant or two. And the product that's coming out of the other end of that system is not a substandard student. It is a student that's going on to win state competitions. What this means, these 3 10s, gatekeepers are gone. There's a blurring of the lines between the music academy and the small teacher and technology. And along with this idea that group lessons are coming to their own, here is what I see happening. That teachers who are ambitious, who are working on their pedagogical skills, and who are also working on their marketing skills, their business skills, these teachers are going to get a disproportionate number of students over the next 10 years. So that if you're a teacher that's not working on those skills, or that is discounting those skills, you're going to have a choice to make. And that is, you are either going to have to subsume yourself into a larger academy and become a paid employee, or you're going to have to step up and begin to work on those direct-to-consumer skills such as marketing, persuasion, communication, leadership, so that you can go directly to those families, because teachers that are working on those skills can now go directly to those consumers through Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram and advertise their program, which is very robust. And at the same time, because a lot of teachers are going to be moving to group lessons over the next 10 years, they're going to have higher margins, which gives them more of a, what I'll call a war chest, out of which to advertise. Now, this not only applies to the small studio teacher, this also applies to music schools. As a consultant to music schools and as a business coach, the number one thing that I hear from music schools right now is they want to know how to create more margin using group lessons. And the number one thing that is keeping them from doing that right now is their ability to, quote, sell it to their parents. I will tell you that this is only going to be a concern for a few more years, and that the vast majority of music academies across the US, which there's over 4,000 privately held music academies across the US, the vast majority of music academies over the next 10 years are going to be switching over to the group lesson model. This is going to make it more difficult for the private independent teacher to compete against those larger academies, because those larger academies are going to see margin increase of 200%, 300%, 500%. Where is all that money? Where is all that increased margin going to go to? I will tell you where it's going to go to. It's going to go right back into advertising so that those schools can maintain their dominance. The price of advertising is going to go up. The amount of attention that those academies are going to get is going to go up. And those who are not working on those softer skills of persuasion, of leadership, of creating a really unique program, they're going to find it harder and more difficult to operate at the professional level. Now, am I absolutely certain this is going to happen over the next 10 years? Am I absolutely certain that's going to happen exactly this way? You know, I'm not Nostradamus. I can't with certainty say that's going to happen. But given these 4 trends, I firmly believe that something close to this, if not this thing exactly, is going to happen. And those teachers now that are preparing themselves by investing in their own education, investing in their own business education, their own marketing education, investing into improving their craft, investing into creating programs and thinking outside the box and adopting technology and leveraging it so that they can see more students per hour. These teachers are the ones who are going to be leading the forefront into the future, and teachers that are not investing in that way are going to find themselves being rapidly left behind and really operating only at the hobby level. I am dead certain of this. I am obviously staking something on this as I'm mentioning this in public, you know, to many people who watch these videos. So anyway, I am very excited by what I've seen at Baltimore. I'm very excited to see that not only the entrepreneurs are moving into the future thinking about group lessons and technology, but even, you know, the professors at colleges are even acknowledging, yes, group lessons are the future for music education, not only in North America, but across the world. To see both entrepreneurs and the academics seeing that same trend develop, I think there's a lot of weight to be held there. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I certainly have enjoyed communicating with so many amazing professionals, meeting many of you in Baltimore. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.